Hi everybody, Dr. Sherry here, and today we're going to talk about agave. So agave is actually a Greek word, agavos, and it means illustrious. So it takes about 8 years to grow and ripen an entire agave plant in order for harvesting, and there's about 136 known species of agave. Now traditionally, agave came from the nectar of the agave plant, or what's also known as the century plant, and it was boiled down into a syrup. It's basically the same idea of getting the sap from the maple tree and boiling that sap up in order to get the maple syrup. It's the same theory. Nowadays, the processing is extremely different than what it used to be, and it's actually similar to processing high fructose corn syrup. So it goes through the centrifuging process to remove all the impurities, and it goes through an enzymatic process, and then it gets converted into a fructose. Once that occurs, then it goes through a vacuum evaporation process, and that it takes the moisture out of it in order for it to be made shelf safe. And so after the moisture is pulled out, then we can still call this syrup, this agave syrup, we can still call it raw because it was never heated above a certain temperature, because raw foodies don't go above a certain temperature in order for it to be considered raw. So it's very popular with the raw diet. It's also popular with the vegan diet. So because of the processing, the agave is not the sweetener it really was a long time ago when it went through the process of getting heated to made into that syrup. So it's really not as healthy as you would really hope it to be, but nonetheless, as I said, vegans use it because there is no animal base, and it's better really than white refined sugar overall. I mean, if you have to choose one or the other. So because agave is low on the glycemic index, it doesn't elevate your blood sugar levels like white refined sugar does. So it's really safe and usable for the diabetics. And most people actually know agave because once it goes through the fermentation process, it's actually called tequila. So those of you that know what agave is in that direction. So agave plant has a lot of useful parts actually. The flower is edible, and the leaves contain the sap and can be eaten that way. The stalks produce like a molasses type flavor once they're roasted, over a fire. The flowers and the shoots obviously are used for the tequila. So pure agave can be used to help with things like wound healing. It is considered an antimicrobial. I know, here we go with the antis again. It's considered an antimicrobial. It is also considered an anti-inflammatory and has been known to boost the immune system. It can lower cholesterol. It can increase the absorption of nutrients. So agave is, it's still a sweetener. It is what it is, and obviously if you're on a good 6-week diet to really clean up your diet, you don't want to use any kind of sweetener, and that includes agave. However, if you have a recipe and it has white refined sugar, what you want to do is use about 1/3 of agave, because it is much sweeter than white refined sugar. So you want to use 1/3 of agave to 1 cup of white refined sugar. And then just reduce your recipe by about 1/3 in order to get the proper, the proper combination for your recipe. So that's about it on agave. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me, and the information comes up right now.